Hey, beautiful souls. I'm Sarah, your soul oracle, deconditioning coach, and mirror here at Soul Heart Intuitive Coaching. And this is your energy update for the week of December 28th to January 3rd. So, this week, let truth rise quietly. This week, something is taking shape. It's not rushed, it's not performative, it's not designed to impress people. It's tender, it's real, and it's ready. Not for the version of you that's trying to prove something, but the one that's finally willing to come home to herself, to her own timing, to her own truth. The cosmos isn't asking you to move faster, it's asking you to move with intention. Not because you're behind, but because your next season requires rooted clarity, not recycled patterns. You're not in a sprint, you're in a soul recalibration. So, the aspects this week December 30th, Mercury is going to square Saturn. Our mental tension is going to meet sacred focus. It's not about overthinking, it's about refining. So let your words be intentional. Let your thoughts become tools, not traps. And Mercury is in Sagittarius and Saturn is in Pisces. On January 1st, we're going to start off 2026 with Mercury entering the sign of Capricorn. So our conversations are going to shift. You're not just thinking about dreams, you're thinking about the structure that makes them real. So make sure you speak with clarity and choose with care. On January 2nd, Chiron is going to station direct in Aries. So our healing journey is going to take a new turn. You've touched on your wounds. Now you're being asked to lead from them, not in spite of them. Your tenderness isn't a liability, it's your origin point. And on January 3rd, we have our full moon in Cancer. So this is an emotional reset. It's not the kind that tells you to start over, but the kind that says come back to what matters: your home, your heart, and your inner knowing. So let yourself feel before you act. Let yourself rest before you rebuild. And let yourself build trust and trust the shift that you're building. This week's invitation: you don't need to push clarity into place. You don't need to prove your worth with perfection. And you don't need to be loud to be heard. So let your truth rise gently. Let your healing speak softly. And let your next step come from trust, not force. Because the shift you've been waiting for, it's already unfolding inside you. It's not polished, it's not performative, it's just present. And sometimes that's more than enough. So remember, you're not late. You're right on time and you're right on purpose. So take a breath. Remember, you're not behind. You're right on time. And everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You're not leaving the path. You are the path. So I have pulled cards for the general overall energy for just in general this week. And we have Gemini, I think, Libra, I balance, and seventh house of partnerships. So this is really a time where you are thinking about things and you may be thinking too much about things. This may be a time where you just need to trust yourself a little bit. Try and find the balance in terms of what you think and what you feel. And your partnerships may be a way of revealing that information to you. Oftentimes, it is really difficult to see our own crap. And sometimes we see that reflected back in the relationships that we have with other people, whether they be friendships or they be one on one relationships. But it is important to pay attention to what it is that you're thinking. Where are you over giving in that relationship? Where is the balance out of skew? And that is really the place that you need to pay attention as we begin 2026, because we're going to be moving in this new direction this year. Things are going to start to shift, things are going to start to expand, and you want to be ready for them. So allow yourself to be prepared for what it is that 2026 is going to bring you and start it off on the right track. So I have pulled cards for each of the zodiac signs. The messages, remember, they're layered. So our sun and rising sign is where you want to focus because that's where the gold lives. And that's where your true self and your future self is whispering to you through the veil. So let's tune in. Remember, this isn't a matter of controlling the outcome, but to mirror back what your soul already knows is ready to shift. So let this be your pause, your anchor, and your reminder that this energy isn't here to break you, it's here to recalibrate you. So, like always, we're going to start off with a sign of Aries. Aries, your card this week is transform. Things in your life are going to start shifting. They're going to start changing. They're going to start transforming, especially as the planets start moving back into your sign. So Neptune and Aries are both going to be moving, Neptune and Saturn, sorry, are both going to be moving back into the sign of Aries. And they are they are going to be hitting that point mid-February. So this isn't a matter of a one and done transformation. This is a matter of things unfolding over a period of time here. But you are going to start to see some of what it is that you may be working on here this week. Where it is that you need to shift. What changes do you need to make? What do you need to start to transform in your life? All of these things are going to be coming into play for you. Now, this may just be sun and rising sign, or it may be something on a more global level in terms of that Aries sector of your life. But it is important that you pay attention to what it is that is ready to shift, what it is that is ready to change, what it is that wants to transform, because it's going to transform whether you want it to or not. So you might as well hop on board and have some sort of say before the universe says it for you. Taurus, your card this week is commit to happiness. Happiness is a process. It is not something that we just magically say, I am going to be happy, and that is the end of it. Happiness comes with revealing all of our crap, our shadows, our triggers, our fears. All of that stuff is part of this process. You have to allow it to rise to the surface. This happiness isn't something that you can control. It is something that you have to just let be. It is a process. It is not some magical state that just happens overnight. Now, yes, you might magically be happy one day, but this is a process. Happiness is a process. If you want to be happy, this is about becoming that more empowered version of yourself. And if you want to be a more empowered version of yourself, then you have to deal with the crap. You have to deal with all of that stuff that is holding you back. Nobody wants to have to deal with it, but it is important as part of our incarnation here on this earth that we deal with this stuff. So allow yourself to commit to happiness. Deal with the stuff as it comes up. Don't just repress it. Let it come up. It's coming up for a reason. It's coming up because it wants to be healed. So commit to happiness this week and allow yourself to feel those things. And one day you might just all of a sudden realize that you are happy. Gemini, your card this week is kindness. This is a time for you to be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. This world desperately needs kindness, but oftentimes it can get really easy to get stuck in our heads and to realize that we're battling with ourselves. So, one of the most important things that you can do this week is be kind to yourself. Cut yourself some slack, give yourself a break. The holidays are now in the process of being over. There is just so much stuff that can come up, so many things that we have to do that oftentimes we will beat ourselves up. This is a time for you to circle back around, to realize that, yes, you did the best that you could in the time that you had. You're not going to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect. But you expect that of yourself. And perfection is a goal that you will never attain. So cut yourself slack. Be kind to yourself. Know that you are doing the best you can with what you have right now. And sometimes that has to be enough. Cancer, your card this week is flow. It is important that you go with the flow right now. Just move in the direction that the universe wants you to. Now, you're going to have a full moon in your sign this week. So things might start coming up. They might start bubbling to the surface. So it's really important that you move in the direction that the universe wants you to move in. The universe has something to say. It has something to do with the direction that you're going to be headed on in 2026. So it's really important that you just move in the direction that the universe wants you to do. Don't try and control the outcome. Just try and move where the energy is moving you. It will help you if you can. So go with the flow this week. Leo, your card this week is sincere relationships. Leo, you may want to be the star of your own life and everybody else's life. And you may be. But sometimes when we can be in that place, we're not able to have the type of relationships that we want to, or we expect things of other people that they can't possibly deliver to us. It is really important that you find sincere relationships, relationships that you can have with people that are mutually beneficial, not only for yourself, but for the other person. Those relationships, they will teach you more than anything else in this world possibly can. Relationships are here to guide us. They're here to teach us. That was one of the overviews for this week, is to be looking at relationships and what they have to tell us. So try and find the balance in your relationships this week. Connect. Have that sort of sincerity and that vulnerability with another person. It is super important for your growth as a soul on this planet. Virgo, your card this week is negativity. So, Virgo, is there a little bit of negativity going on in your life? Maybe you're the one who's being negative. Maybe somebody else is being the one who's negative. Negativity is a method of showing us where our shadows are. And it is really important that you pay attention to your shadows. What do they have to say? What is that negativity showing you? Negativity is here to teach us something. It can be really easy to get stuck in that loop of negativity. It's not a place that you should remain for long, but unfortunately, it's a place that most of us tend to live. So look to where the negativity is in your life and pay attention to it, as that is the area that you want to focus on, and that is the area that you want to change. So move, pay attention to what the negativity is, and start working on shifting that. Libra, your card this week is modify. You need to make some changes. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to throw everything out that you've been working on, but you need to make some adjustments. You need to make some modifications. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's your whole life either. Could just be one small little piece. Excuse me. Modifications are important. We always have to shift them. We always have to move them. So pay attention to what the modifications are that you're having to make in your life. As I said, they don't have to be major. They just may be little teeny little adjustments. So allow yourself to make them and see what can happen as a result of you making modifications before the universe makes them for you. Scorpio, your card this week is hydrate. Pay attention to your water consumption this week. I know it can be really easy to just move through things and not pay attention to some of the basics, like how much water we consume. Oftentimes, the thing that we want to do is we want to just reach for a pill. We want something to just take care of it for us. So when we have a headache, oftentimes we'll just reach for an aspirin. But what if that headache is just caused by the fact that you don't have enough water in your system? So make sure you're hydrated this week. Make sure your body is taken care of, because sometimes we can forget those little things in terms of the grander scheme of things. But sometimes it can just be something as simple as making sure we have enough water. Sagittarius, your card this week is grateful. Where can you express gratitude? Now, gratitude, oftentimes we just associate it with Thanksgiving or with the holiday season. But gratitude is something that should be expressed year round. It's not necessarily something that you just have to do at those times of year. Gratitude is a practice. It is something that is used in manifestation terms to look at something that you don't necessarily have, but something that you're looking for. Because if you can show that you're grateful for that in this moment when you don't have it and make space for it, then you can start to demonstrate to the universe that you're ready for it. So be grateful for what you do and for what you don't have this week. Gratitude, as I said, it's a practice. So make sure that you practice being grateful this week. Capricorn, your card this week is progress. Capricorn, sometimes you can be so concerned with just finishing the project. that you don't pay attention to the actual progress that you're making as part of that progress. Pay attention to the progress that you're making. The end result is not the only thing that you have to keep in mind. It is not always the finish line. Sometimes the journey is just as important as the destination. So pay attention to the progress that you're making in a project. That progress is important. It's teaching you something as you go along. You don't always have to reach that end point before you start to see the results of what it is that you're trying to do. So look at the progress that you're making, and you are making progress. Aquarius, your card this week is breathe. So this circles back to what I was talking about with Scorpio. Sometimes our breath is something that we don't pay enough attention to. Now, yes, we all do it unconsciously. Breathing keeps us alive. But sometimes we need to pay attention to what our breath has to say. We slow down. We can focus on it. And sometimes that can help us to center, especially when our lives seem to be spiraling out of control, which is something that can happen for all of us. So connect to your breath. Your breath has something to tell you, and it may just be that you need to slow down. But that message could be something important. So pay attention to what your breath has to say this week. And Pisces, your card this week is choice. Things are wrapping up for you. A chapter is finishing here. As I said earlier on, Neptune and Saturn are both moving out of the sign of Pisces and into the sign of Aries. This is an important shift. It is the end of a chapter. And the thing is that you have the time to say, I've learned that lesson and I'm going to make a different choice going forward. And remember, whether you think that you do or not, you always have a choice. There is a choice in every single thing that you do in this world, even when it doesn't seem like it. So make a different choice this week. You won't be sad that you did. It may be unexpected, but it's going to lead you in a new direction, which is what this year of 2026 is all about. Excuse me. So remember, you're not lost. You're between stories. So let the messages find a place in your body, even if they don't make sense yet. Because sometimes the most powerful knowing comes in the quiet after the card is pulled. So let the messages you received anchor your next step, even if you can't see the full map yet. Our sun and rising sign are codes that are layered, so let them sit, let them settle. And if you're craving deeper cosmic guidance and spiritual anchoring, come join me inside the Soul Keys Temple, my signature monthly membership. We move with the moon, we study the transits, and we anchor into the astrology of the moment through live sessions, reflection prompts, and potent transmissions. It's where the soul meets structure and where you're reminded that your path is sacred, even when it's messy. You'll find full details at www.soulheartintuitivecoaching.com. And you can always book a personal soul session if you want to go deeper one-on-one. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And the magic will continue there. So here's to a week of sacred pivots, anchored clarity, and deep inner resonance. So stay tuned in, stay luminous, stay you, and I'll talk to you next week.